So, the phone is charging.
Besides, I also have children, and 2 of them are conscription age. One has already served his mandatory military service.
So you want to meet them in captivity?
I don't want them to get here yet. That's also one of the reasons I came here.
This is going to be a cool video, right? A father meets his son in captivity.
I don't think there's much that's funny.
It'll be fine. There'll be some decent hype.
Well, yes, it's hype, but for me personally, it will be very bad.
Why?
I would never wish this on anyone.
And those who are being captured for the second time, what should we do with them?
I don't know. I will do everything to avoid being captured, let alone sent to this war.
For example?
I don't know yet. I'm thinking I'll primarily hire the lawyers. This is the very first thing that comes to mind now. Base.
Okay, finish your smoke. You can smoke more during the conversation. During the conversation, have you learned Ukrainian yet?
I grew up in Kuban, so I heard it from my great-grandmother, but I didn't understand what she was saying.
Do you speak German?
I studied German, yes, at school, at college. English, no.
We quit.
What do you mean?
Literally, you could learn both German and English.
I could. It was a school, after all, a Soviet school. They had to divide everyone into German and English. They assigned
Why
them...
do we know 2 languages at once?
I didn't really expect to live abroad, and I didn't even imagine that.
I'm saying that we Ukrainians know 2 languages by default. Our own Ukrainian language.
Ukrainian language is your native language.
Do they issue
They
Russian?
I don't know now. Before that, it was a state language under the Soviet Union.
Why I'm saying this, because you were also going to defend the Russian language.
Among other things,
Yes. How is it that we all speak Russian, among other things? And you came to defend it.
Because we were told that the Russian language is being oppressed here, and not what was said.
Look, it glows. It doesn't glow.
They say that...
Okay, let's talk about these topics. We need to hide the cigarettes. We'll be taking them out because... Introduce yourself to camera of broken Samsung. It's still broken. Today is May, and he has been broken for probably a year already. Please write in the comments when I broke it. Is it far from center?
Well, if you take the commuter train, you can be at 3 stations in about 30-40 minutes.
What if it's in kilometers in a straight
In
line?
kilometers at the crow flies, it's about 10 kilometers to the Moscow border and another 20-30 to the city center.
I see. Do you voluntarily consent to the recording and publication of this conversation?
Yes, sure.
Once again, how old are you?
The full 46-47 will be in August.
Yes, we will communicate as equals. We are the same age. Plus or minus. What is your military rank and position?
In the position of senior lieutenant, commander of a fine support platoon.
Stop. In short, I'm not military man, but I need to figure this out. The position is not senior lieutenant.
Yes, senior lieutenant, serving as a fire support platoon commander in the 242nd Motorized Rifle Regiment, 2nd Battalion.
Yeah, a familiar regiment. Fire support for what?
That's what it's called, fire support.
It is gunfire or is it artillery?
This is small artillery, roughly speaking.
Turn here a little, we'll talk. And what is filming this secondary?
It's in the unit.
Small artillery and mortars.
There were supposed to be 2 mortars, 2 GS, 2 heavy machine guns, and 2 ATGMs.
Yes, a full-fledged mini-art type. The key phrase is should have been, but what was?
There were Kalashnikov 112 assault rifles.
Do you mean because of something more serious?
Well, to be more specific, if you have time at the training ground, my soldiers fired 1 shot from ATGM and 20 shots from AGS-17. And that's all.
I can assume that later you were stormtroopers.
In general, yes.
Where did you get that title? Okay, let's get back to the war. Family, children, yaks, dogs, leopards, tigers.
There were no tigers like tanks.
I mean your life.
Life,
Maybe you have a bungalow on the territory of the Oasis. You live there and you have tigers there.
I have small private house in the Moscow region. Dogs, cats, everything as it should be in a family. Children.
There are no wild animals. Bears.
Wild animals. There is a forest nearby, but they didn't run into.
Private house. Russians are calling. Children. Who are you and what are you doing?
The two eldest, one student studies at Moscow State University. One of them, after the army, completed his mandatory military service, worked and studied at the Customs Academy in Lyuberdzi.
Yeah. What year and specializations are you in at Moscow State
To be
University?
honest, I don't get it. It's something complicated.
That is.
With mathematics, with physics,
Stop.
with mathematics.
Stop. I don't believe it. It doesn't work that way. The father doesn't know who his son will be?
I have a complicated relationship with my eldest son.
Oh, this is interesting. What's the difficulty?
I communicated with him. I communicated with him constantly, but not very closely.
And you don't know who he will be?
I don't know exactly who he will be.
Okay, fine. This is the older one. And what about the younger one? I understand
Another one, if everything goes well, will be related to customs.
the eldest, you don't know, at Moscow State University, the youngest in Lyuberdzi, a custom officer, a border guard. It's unknown. It doesn't matter. Who else is there?
There are two more younger ones. One is 11, and the other is 12.
Yes, I understand it. The last three are...
Everything is mixed up there, including another adopted one. Second eldest is the adopted one, who is with my wife, my second spouse.
What is your education, Comrade Senior Lieutenant?
I have a law degree.
Oh, I have one too.
Colleague?
What part of yours?
General, I have jurisprudence. A lawyer specializing in jurisprudence.
Like yours.
Jurisprudence.
I have anti-corruption activities.
We didn't have any narrow specialization. We could have gone into any narrow specialization.
How many years?
What?
Studied.
5.
5. So are you finished?
I graduated from Ministry of Internal Affairs, Russian Federation.
Oh, so it turns out...
But this is not the police, this is the internal
understood,
troops.
yes, there were prisoners from there. There essentially, you was a cadet in uniform for 5 years.
Yes,
Graduated as a lieutenant.
that's right.
Where did they send you?
To Moscow.
Moscow. Who?
Dzerzhinsky Division, commander of a motorized rifle platoon.
Oh, I see. Not in your specialty.
While legal education is necessary in any case.
No, so... Into the motorized rifle?
Motorized rifleman, that's right. Commander and graduation commander of a motorized rifle platoon, that's right.
What was written in the diploma? What specialization?
A law degree, as I said, a lawyer, a legal expert.
Yes. Where are the motorized riflemen here?
And this is a military school.
Right. In theory, you should have gone to some legal department at any military unit and steam with contracts and similar stories.
Well, in our country, we received, as they call it, secondary specialized military education because the military completes their training.
Well, let me ask differently. Why was it distributed like this? Didn't give them money?
We had state distribution.
No, you have a clear specialty. You should have gone to some headquarters or to some Ministry of Defense, to some department. Where are these papers? I can assume this is my fantasy. There were problems and there was a link to the motorized riflemen and they sent you there.
No, on the contrary, we considered it a court division of the internal troops, so it was definitely not an Excel.
I don't know. I'm just guessing for my own considerations. It's just that you were trained to be a lawyer and then you became a motorized rifleman, and another thing is that you were trained as a motorized rifleman and you became motorized rifleman.
It's not that much. You know how it was. The main direction is military schools. In all of our military schools, everyone received additional civilian education.
Yes, it has always
Second.
been like this. That's always
My
the
second
case.
education is civil. I am a lawyer, a legal expert.
And the first military one?
And the first military commander of a rifle platoon.
Oh, well, we figured it out. You should have said it from the start, that you
Maybe I
were
have.
pure military men. Well, there are just military men who trained as military men, being lawyers.
And there are lawyers who graduated from the military department and then became military men, probably, but some didn't.
How long did you serve as a motorized rifleman?
Well, not for long there, because of the conflict in general.
I already understand this when the phrase, well, not for long, sounds, so what kind of conflict is this?
Well, for 6 months.
Oh, quickly. Oh, got drunk, I guess.
No.
What is the conflict then? The young lieutenant who came and whom everyone...
Well, I guess I also expected something a little different from the army. What happened to what I got and... Well, there were in general a whole commission. There were several of us. Well, there were a lot, let's say, from different schools that we arrived at the division. And in the end, they didn't express themselves very well towards me personally. Then I said that this is not good, to put it mildly.
Did it graduate more or less in 2000?
Yes.
Guess it right. In the middle, well, it ended by autumn, well, in 2000.
Yes.
I'm just talking about chronology.
No, I graduated from college in 1999.
In 99, good.
By 2000, yes, that's where I left the army.
For
roughly
what
speaking.
reason? Who terminated the contract?
Well, basically, they wrote out a black mark,
Oh, it's all clear and understandable.
according to the article.
For which one?
Well, under the article of inconsistency there and so on.
With whom was there a conflict and on what grounds?
Well, I'm telling you that a whole commission came there for sorted out there with those lieutenants who they're a little bit of themselves. They started to make excessive demands on their service.
What did you present?
Well, the fact that, well, we don't want to serve like that and so on. We were offered to leave for the Caucasus, where the Second Chechen War just beginning.
That's right.
Here, well,
Did you refuse?
I decided to go, yes, along the free pass. Moreover, I can honestly say that I came to Moscow, saw the opportunity there, and decided to try them out.
I understand. They gave you the senior one already during the war. Elder.
Yes, on destination.
Resigned, what were you doing?
Well, like a military man, I retired in Moscow and started working in security,
It makes sense.
so to look around and see what's what. Well, and then somehow I got there completely by accident. I got into the construction industry and worked with my hands because it was necessary. Child was born and I need to feed the family.
When did you meet your wife?
Well, I met her there in Balashikha. When I was leaving, there was time for everything. It turned out that I stayed in Moscow and decided to try out some life opportunity there.
In short, at the beginning of construction, at the beginning of security construction,
yes.
Before when was it?
Until the very last moment, practically.
Oh, and, well, that means, well, if the construction took 20 years in a circle, if you take,
16 if
16.
officially get there.
then, like, this is definitely some kind of director
Well,
probably.
there were our own contracting organizations.
By tenders.
No, I didn't work with government money on principle.
So as not to see it on government money, right?
Well, because the state, I always thought so, the state gives with one hand and takes away with the other more than it gave. That's why...
Asking more than getting paid for.
Asking more than getting paid for, yes. And so I decided that, especially since there was a lot of commercial
How many
money in
companies have
Russia
you had?
at that time,
And what did you build?
I had 2 construction companies.
What was your name?
One is OOO Stroy Moda and the other is OOO RSK 11.
Stroy Mod?
Moda.
Stroy Moda.
Moda.
RSK 11. Creepy name. What is RSK 11?
Repair and Construction Company 11.
The 11's in number.
On the 11th is my wife's birthday, on the 11th.
And what is the first one connected with?
And the first one I bought was a ready-made company, it just had a name.
And some kind of licenses.
Yeah, there were still construction permits back then, and just so that I wouldn't have to redo all of this later, the documents, well,
Understood.
I left it like
What
that.
did you build and what did you do? Main direction.
This is the construction of catering establishments and catering points.
Cafes, restaurants.
At that time, chain restaurants like Burger King were developing rapidly.
How much can a company earn?
Well, I never counted it as income because,
I don't believe it. If
I
you were a
didn't
manager,
count.
you clearly know how much income, expenses, and everything else you have.
I calculated about this matter a little differently. I calculated, roughly speaking, the revenue for the year and the percentage revenue that I could, roughly speaking, leave to myself.
It's called dividends.
Well, that's
Something
right.
like this.
Well,
Let
sort of.
me ask it differently. It will probably be interesting for the audience. I just can't get it. Something wrong. What's wrong?
Ask a question, I will answer.
The head of a construction company who knows how to build, who has all the opportunities and resources, is building a small 8-on-8 house in the Moscow region, knowing that this in fact may be the last construction project. Well, like, because you're already at an age and most likely there won't be another one. Why don't you build something more serious there?
Well, I planned, but I always invested.
Were you planning another construction
Yes.
project?
But I have always invested simply in development, and development, well, business in Russia is always 50-50.
Well, the mathematics, I think, is approximately the same for us and for you. Build an 8-on-8 house when with modern technology we have, well, there's like a box worth $40,000. In yours, it's like 4 million rubles.
Well, I can say it all cost me all together with the purchase of a plot somewhere around 8-9 million rubles.
Which of these areas took up more space?
No, the plot, by the way, cost me quite well back then. It cost around $50,000. If in dollars, it will be clearer to you.
Well, as I say, the site turned out to be larger than
Well,
the
the exchange
construction
rate
site.
was different back then, so here...
Well, in short, it's the same whether it's a plot of land or a house.
Well, you could say so.
How many acres in the plot?
12.
Well, and it had to be left that way. Well, in short, from this I can conclude that the income was small, because if the monthly income was somewhere around maybe 1 million or 2 rubles.
Well, I'm saying I invested a lot of money in development. I tried to develop further constantly.
You don't mean personally, but like business-wise.
Well, company, yes.
Yes.
There have always been losses, that is, this also
Are you
exists.
mobilized or a contractor soldier?
Contract soldier.
Didn't receive the humans?
No, I haven't received it.
Well, now we come to the most interesting part. Why the hell did you come here to kill us?
Well, I'm telling you, I had some idealistic once ideas about this in everything which, let's say, so I can say that we didn't live up to our
Which?
expectations. Well, the fact is that I'm really going to defend the Russian world, the Russian language,
This is bullshit. I don't believe it at all.
Russian-speaking Ukrainians.
This is bullshit. I don't believe it at all.
The fact that the Nazis took power
Why
here.
don't I believe it?
Well, probably because that's what
No.
everyone says.
We are talking specifically about you. What makes you different from 99% of those you...
More educated.
Yes, but there is a key thing. You wore this crap, unlike everyone else, for 5 years in the military seminary. And you knew that something was wrong here. Moreover, as you said, Ukrainians worked with you. You take this into account too. I don't think anyone who worked for you ever told you about any Nazi dudes. About the infringement of the Russian language.
Well, there is no mention of infringement, but that was when they worked with me. You see, like Dmitry, they left later. When the Maidan and everything else started, they practically all left.
Why did they leave?
Well, to be honest, some of them, as far as I know for sure, left, took their families and went off to different places.
Og then.
Some to the west, some to the east, some of them...
What does West-East mean?
Well, roughly speaking, who left Ukraine for Poland, who left for Russia, some of them left, I can tell you that for sure. Some of them seem to say that they would figure it out on the spot what was happening in their country.
Who say that they are discriminatory here? What language did they speak?
In Russian, of course.
Yeah. Like the people who speak Russian to you. Later, after 8 years, you could conclude that someone is being discriminated against there.
Well, I'm telling you that...
So, look, we have in short conversation. How can I say it? I'm interested in the essence, not the wrapper in which you put ideas, propaganda. You don't invest in it because you're initially smart, because you have a higher education. Moreover, you have personal military education. So you wore uniform for 5 years. You taught. Then you left because you weren't happy With what you were doing, position in the army, relations with officer, there they gave you some kind of dorms, you didn't tell us about that, or they didn't give it to you didn't have enough money, you were counting another.
Well, something like that.
Yes, the pride of Russian officer. Moreover, you yourself say the Chechen war, and now you are saying ideological thing. The key point will be, I will ask the question, when did you sign the contract?
In January of this year.
2024.
Yes.
Moreover, I don't believe it.
This is one of the reasons.
The second reason.
The second reason is children. I don't want them to get here. Better me than them.
What does it mean? What do children and you have to do with
I have
this?
2 children of conscription age.
Okay, then.
I have no desire at all for them to get here.
How does this affect their ability to stay out?
Where there is talk about what a participant has in the SMO, I understand that it is not documented in any way, but if one of the family members, the father or someone else, is a participant in the SMO, then no more males from the family are called up.
Are you trying to sell me a story that you went so they wouldn't go?
Well, that's also the second reason.
Is the first one registered to you?
Of course, my son.
Second?
The second one too.
Third, fourth?
Naturally.
Well, you may not go because you have many children. The fact that you will go instead of someone and they will not be taken, this does not exist anywhere.
Well, that's not in the law.
The third reason you went.
The third reason is money, naturally. There is a reason for this too. Because everything I did...
I'm not listening right now. I'm putting together a puzzle called maybe the editor will cut this out. Because I'm thinking right now. How many loans were there?
Well, enough.
Well, in numbers, I'm kind of an adult. I can add.
Well, I'm saying that I'm trying to explain
How
the
many?
third situation. In case...
It's a simple question. In a mathematical number.
Several million.
What were they taken for?
For business.
What was wrong?
Well, the first thing that went wrong was the pandemic happened, and the war that happened, it basically dealt the finishing blow to my business.
Which banks had loans?
In MTB, in Sberbank.
Were the loans issued to legal entity or
There
individual?
were some for legal entities and...
How much for legal entities? How
Well,
much for
there was
individuals?
still more than $1 million left for the legal entity. The border has already shifted to me.
Like bankruptcy payments are court
No, there
ordered.
is no bankruptcy because I was the guarantor.
Now, if $1 million was from a legal entity, the rest was to an individual.
There is still over $1 million per individual, moreover on my wife because I asked her to take it for me.
Didn't they give you any more? Did she
Yes.
take it? What the current credit?
There were several cars, they were sold.
Which?
There was
Which?
there was a Jeep Grand Cherokee, there was an X-Trail, there was a Nissan. There were work vehicles and small commercial vehicles.
What did the wife do?
The wife is a housewife.
Housewife. Well, dear friends, please write in the comments whether I came to the right conclusion or not. Because I think I came to the right conclusion. It's your business to agree with him or not. I'll voice it. You came here for the money. Period.
Including.
No, period. Because you're a career officer. You have a... I can lay this out now, but it's all called by default. Did you communicate with your classmates?
We had meetings on anniversaries.
When was the last one?
In the summer of that year.
Great. How many of them came?
About 30, probably 40.
So most of the course arrived. How
Of
many?
course not. There were over 200 people in the course.
Yeah. What were you talking about?
We were just reminiscing about our cadet years.
Besides nostalgia, were the officers fighting?
I know we have them, but they weren't with us.
Were there those who had already died?
Yes, I know one for sure.
Uh-huh.
Lived in Crimea.
That you're at meeting of classmates, essentially all plus or minus career officer. Some people didn't finish their studies, probably some people finished their studies. What did you say about the war?
On the topic of war. In fact, Dmitry, no one needs war.
That's not what I asked about. We're just having a conversation. I need some formats, serious,
We talked about who knew what about it. As such, there are no active ones.
Look, when 50
Active ones,
when 50 doctors met, they're people who have
they
graduated.
speak professionally.
Most of the conversation and meeting are professional topics. It happens.
I understand. I can voice it. We
Yes,
talked about what kind of war it is, why there is a war,
Yes.
what it is. We
Yes.
talked about this topic. We also discussed how it will end for us.
Oh, tell me, it's interesting because when they get
Everyone
together...
put forward their own assumptions or points on this matter depending on their level of information. They say that we would win the war, that we wouldn't have to fight for long. We have everything for war. Someone said that now the entire West will join in it. There will be a big war as a result. This will all end badly for everyone, for us, for Ukraine, and for the whole world. Such options were also discussed.
This is what interests me.
Eventually, someone will press the button, no matter who.
Didn't push.
Vladimir Vladimirovich or someone in the West will press the button.
NATO will press.
Yes, the result will be the same for everyone. We will all burn in nuclear ashes, and that will be the end of it.
But you had Kiselyov shouting it from all the federal channels. We will turn it into nuclear ashes. Editor, if they don't make it... Sorry, editor. Give a like to the editor. What interests me, this internal state. The way you fought or something...
Everyone has a different one. Some people say that this war was not necessary. Someone said that this is a heresy. We are fighting with our own. Someone said we should... This is my opinion. Can I say this? The editor won't cut it out.
The critic won't cut it out.
There were also those who say crush the Ukrainians.
Of course, I understand that.
So that it doesn't look offensive, it's simple.
You can say whatever you want, but it's better not to swear because he'll just...
Well, I don't really support people like that.
If we could take 30 people, right? Let's try to divide them into groups based on some percentage ratio. Please don't
I'm not embellishing.
If 30% or 20%, it's an interesting story because people are interested in internal unrest within Thoshidi.
Yeah, they can be divided into three groups.
Let's.
Those who say that this war was not necessary. Those who said we don't care, we will defeat everyone. There were those who, roughly speaking, who said we will crush the Ukrainians. The third group generally abstained from everything and said, why this war, leave me alone with these conversations. Well, because we were sitting and drinking, roughly speaking, how the military met.
Understood.
Let's talk about women and cars instead. Well, I'm sorry.
And still, if you met their drunk meeting lasted 5 hours, how long did you talk about the war and social life? And about cars and women? Well, we are all adults, considering that 30 men gathered. The timing is interesting. What topic?
How the time was still spent on these questions towards war. How she touched to when there did not go, or who was taken or not taken, or something else like that. Of course, half the time, this issue is very high on the country's agenda.
Yes, that's the problem. You see, you're making it up. Tell me the story about how you talked about women and cars and 30 people gathered.
Of course not.
No, but you said so at the beginning.
No, I'm saying there are people who say that who need this, let's talk about women and cars instead.
I have several indications. If we met with lawyers, then naturally we talk about this topic. It works in life. You can meet with a group of auto mechanics and discuss Elon Musk, because you don't understand anything about this topic.
There were also other questions when discussing face-to-face life. Some hadn't seen each other at all since graduation.
Yes.
We just learned about life, about children, wives. There were any such questions.
To conclude our conversation, More precisely, having listened to one side, I can say that coming here to us is just a financial story, because the courts were already open.
Yeah, there were.
Because the harassment has already begun, and firstly, going to the SMO is a deferment through the courts, right?
Yes.
Right. And deferment of court proceeding is firstly another possibility. If a lawyer is involved, he can also write off a loan. Is there such a thing?
It's unlikely to be written off, but it's possible to restore it.
Yes. They have support from the state for those who fight. There is a possibility to balance the financial balance and, at a minimum, settle contentious issues out of court. I know all this because I communicate with them not only on camera, but also outside of the camera. There are those who don't want to communicate on camera, but I communicate with them because it's interesting. Therefore, there is no ideological history here. We're talking about January 2024, right? This year.
Yes, this year.
So we're talking... What date?
16 or 17.
After the holidays. So
Yeah.
celebrate all the holidays, took a breeze, sober it up, and went and signed it in a sane state.
Why not in a healthy state?
By the way, so let's sum it up. The first reason and the last one is money. Opportunity. He understood that when he came to war, he would be an officer. That is, at the very least, he won't be sitting in a trench. He put it together, he understood, because he is a sober person, thinks, unlike some, knows the laws, can read papers. Have you read the contract?
I read it.
He
yes.
read, I believe, because you understand that 99% of the crap you're sitting in captivity with won't read an A4 page in 2 days.
Well, yes.
Well, do you agree?
There are plenty of those. I don't argue, Dmitry.
That is, even if he wanted to, if you sat him down and told him to read, he would read and not understand 78% of the text. In his case, given that he was a CEO, he can clearly read documents because he signed them. He'd been to court, a former officer, he knew he wouldn't be in the trenches, right?
Yes,
Not being in the trenches equals having a chance to survive, right?
that's also true.
At the same time, being an officer, there is the opportunity to decide to be at headquarters some 50 kilometers from the front line. That would be nice, where nothing flies.
With my rank and position, I didn't count on this.
There is also a need for lieutenants, senior lieutenants. Moreover, legal education was just what was supposed to be work to write out some certificates without use of the missing. This is my theory, my assumption. That is, the campaign to war consisted of sitting it out somewhere around a year to earn money, especially since the officer received 230 probably, or how
Well,
much?
something like that.
Something like that. Work for a year outside the war, get 230 plus, vacation pay, plus here and there, plus somewhere you can do something there, steer up, earn 3 million, resolve problematic issues, and breathe a sign of relief. Here the story. Absolutely no ideology. We can talk about ideology in 1 minute. I will prove that there was no ideology. Who is Pushilin?
DPR comrade.
Huh? Who is he? It is clear that he is a comrade.
I didn't look into their positions. They hand out...
Where is Mozgovoi now?
Mozgovoi? Well, definitely not in the DPR or LPR, in my opinion.
We finish about ideology. If you know, you know. So,